Hey guys, I'm retired Navy SEAL sniper instructor Chris Sajnog and the founder of the New Rules of Marksmanship training system. In this video, I'm going to be teaching you the 4 firearms safety rules. Now let's go ahead and get started.
Joining me now is retired Navy SEAL sniper Chris Sajnog.
All right, so when it comes to training with any firearm, with any weapon system, it's critical that you understand the firearm safety rules. Because if you are shooting things that you shouldn't shoot and people are getting hurt, or you're shooting even the ceiling, that is not a good thing. You want your rounds to go where you want them to go, and by following these 4 simple safety rules, it is going to be impossible for you to shoot something that you don't want to shoot. I'm going to teach you the firearm safety rules the same way that I teach anybody who I teach how to shoot, including my children. The first firearm safety rule is you need to treat all firearms as if they're loaded, despite what you may think of that firearm. If you think that a gun is not loaded, such as somebody hands you a firearm and says, "Hey, I unloaded this gun. I want you to treat that gun like it's still loaded." If you have a gun in your holster and you go to pull that gun out and you think that it is unloaded, I want you to treat it like it's loaded and make sure that it is unloaded if it needs to be unloaded. That is critical. Always treat it like it's loaded. So number 2 is you're going to keep your finger off of the trigger until it is pointed in a safe direction. This is really important because if you have your finger on the trigger and you get startled, you can have a startle response, which is going to clench your hand down. You're just going to freeze up. And if your finger's on that trigger, a round can go off unintentionally. So finger off the trigger until you're ready to shoot. So next up is you are always going to point your gun in a safe direction and never point it at anything that you are not willing to shoot. If you never point your gun at somebody you don't want to shoot or something you don't want to shoot, at least if the gun goes off, you're not going to hurt anybody or anything that you really care about. Of course, you may be a little embarrassed or whatnot, but as long as you do that, nothing really bad is going to happen. So the last one that you need to know and understand is know your target, and also you need to know what's in front of it and what's behind it. So this can become critical in like a home defense type situation where somebody comes into your home and you want to shoot that person, but right behind that person is maybe your kid's bedroom or something like that. You always need to be aware of that. You also need to be aware of, say you're in law enforcement, that people could be moving in front of your target. So you always have to be aware of not just your target, what's in front, what's behind it, but you also have to know what could move to any of those places. In a dynamic shooting situation, dynamic means that everything's moving. You're moving, the target's moving, and things around the target are moving. So you really need to practice awareness no matter what situation you're in. I love using blue guns or training guns or non-guns, whatever you want to call them, pieces of plastic that cannot hurt anybody unless you were to whack them over the head with it. The reason for that is, number 1, of course, there's no way that anybody's going to get hurt from using this. But 2, the person that's learning is going to have a very low level of stress because they also know that. So they're going to be able to learn a lot faster. Okay. All right, so I am going to teach you literally the same way that I taught my kids firearm safety. So the first thing that I did was I got them to understand where the bullets come out of the gun and where the trigger is. They needed to be able to identify all the different parts of the gun when I asked them, and I did this over a period of time. It wasn't like once they said it right one time, I was like, okay, let's go to the range and start blasting some caps. I made sure that they really knew it and understand it. The next thing that I did was I taught them the firearm safety rules. I got them to tell me in their own words what it meant and why it was important. Your understanding of the rules are much more important than the exact words used for the rules, because people word them differently, but as long as you're doing the intended meaning of those 4 rules, you're going to be safe. So after they did that, I had them basically pick up a blue gun on a table, just like I have here, using the 4 firearm safety rules. So again, number one is always assume that a firearm is loaded. I see this gun and I go, oh, this gun is probably loaded. So right there, right off the bat, I understand that I am going to treat it with respect. Now with my kids at home, when I teach them, if they saw a gun on a table at somebody's house or they're at a friend's house and their friend pulls out a gun, they assume it's loaded. They run out of there and they yell gun and they find a responsible adult to deal with the situation. They're not going to pick it up. They're not going to ask them about it. They're not going to ask if it was loaded. They're going to treat it like it was loaded and they're going to get out of there. And if you have kids, I highly recommend you teach them that critical skill. It could save their lives. But I want them to pick this gun up because eventually I want to be able to take them to the range and actually shoot a firearm. They're not going to be able to pick it up like this because of firearm safety rule number 2. So that means that they're going to have to pick it up in a way that, number 1, they're not putting their finger on the trigger, and number 2, they're not going to pick it up and point it at me or their brother or anybody else or my nice TV. They're going to pick it up and not touch the trigger when they pull it up and not point it at anything they don't want to shoot. So they're going to keep it pointed in a safe direction. So the last thing that firearm safety rule number 4 is know your target and what's beyond it. So for this, what I would do is I would give them situations. And with us, it was interesting because we got to where we're shooting airsoft and stuff in the backyard and I'd set up a target, but I would always ask them, what's beyond your target? Like, what are some possible things over there? And they're like, well, the neighbor's house. And I'd go, okay, well, our target's set up in a way where it's not at the neighbor's house. You know, it's not over here. It's facing this way, so that's safe. And what else? Well, we have a dog, Luna, and Luna could potentially run in front of the target. So we know that we need to be aware of things that could come in front of our target or behind it. That is it. Those are the 4 firearm safety rules. Make sure you practice them every time you train. And I recommend training at home, if you didn't know that already, and I recommend using dry fire. Now, the reason I bring that up is because by definition, if you are dry firing, there is no ammunition in your gun, there's no ammunition in your magazine, and it is physically impossible to have an accidental or negligent discharge. It's impossible because you cleared out your gun, you cleared out your magazines, you took your ammunition, you put it in another room, you locked it up, you closed yourself in a room, you checked your gun and your magazines 3 times, you told yourself you're dry firing, and then you practiced your dry firing. If you have an accidental discharge or a negligent discharge with a firearm, you were not dry fire training, so just keep that in mind. Training at home is very safe, you just need to follow the safety rules. So that's all I have for you today. Until next time, keep paving your path safely to perfection. Hey, I really hope you enjoyed watching that video. And if you did, I put together my top 3 videos for learning to shoot at home. And I want to give those to you absolutely free. Now, all you have to do is click the iCard that just popped up, or you can go to chrissajnog.com/free videos. And I will send you not only those top 3 videos that I have for learning to shoot at home, but I will also send you a free PDF copy of my New Rules of Marksmanship manifesto. Click the card, go to chrissajnog.com/free videos so I can send you those videos. Keep paving your path to perfection, guys.